We're now joined by SANDU National Secretary Pikkie Greef. He joins us now via our video link. Pikkie, thank you so much for your time this evening. Certainly tragic news coming out from the DRC this evening with the confirmation there of the 9 SANDF members who have been killed. What do we know so far?
Good evening. Yes, well, we've had reports already this morning and issued a statement in that regard where we had it at a death toll of 3 soldiers and 18 injured. And we were a bit taken aback by the fact that the SANDF did not release its statement earlier. It does raise some concern, but we can confirm that that information that they've released now, the SANDF has released, does correlate with the information, real-time information that we have as well. It's a tragic few days that it's been for South Africa, and I don't think we must underestimate how serious number these casualties and injuries are. It's really, in the bigger scheme of battles, it is really serious losses to take.
And are these, some of your members, Pikkie? And, maybe are you able to also tell us if the families have been notified of the deaths?
Well, to start with the membership issue first, we have been able to confirm this morning, when we only had reports of 3 deaths and 18 injured, that at least 14 of the 18 injured are members of the union, and at least 2 of the first 3 that were reported as killed in action were also union members. But I also have to say that it really, at this stage, it's immaterial whether one is a member of the union or not. Everybody are South African soldiers, and we mourn every one of them. So the second part of your question, I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, no, I was asking if, perhaps the families of some of these SANDF members, if they've been notified of the tragic loss of these members.
Of course, my apologies. We do know from communication and information that has been provided to us, what we've seen, that the process of informing the families of the deceased is underway. Obviously, in some instances it becomes a bit difficult because they might be in rural areas and so on. And obviously also the names of the deceased can't be published before the families haven't been informed. But we, just from our point of view at the union, think that it can be handled better in future. There's lots of families, next of kin, that are back in the Republic here, waiting to hear whether perhaps their family members are involved in any of these casualties or injuries. And really that we think there can be acted much faster in the communication to the specific family members, so that the Defence Force can publish the names, so that all those families who are in the Republic wondering whether their next of kin is involved can have some rest. I can tell you that probably tonight there are going to be thousands of families who will not rest until they've actually seen a name list of injuries and casualties.
And what does this loss mean for South Africa, particularly when it comes to some of the SANDF members who were there on peacekeeping missions?
I think, it should be a wake-up call to South Africans to, well, not specifically question, but to take heed of what it means to get involved in these kinds of deployments. It's not the union's mandate to comment on whether this kind of deployment is desirable or not. That's a political decision. Soldiers do what they're told. We simply say that no deployment, including this one, should take place in circumstances where there is not 100% support, logistical, equipment-wise, and in every aspect that one needs for a full operational success. We know it's been well recorded, it's been documented, we've said it over and over, and defense analysts have said it several times, that this specific mission is probably not properly equipped and fully supported in terms of air support elements and other various issues that I don't want to discuss in detail for obvious reasons. And the rule of thumb is usually that one takes heavy losses such as these in circumstances where the support is not 100% in terms of logistics and equipment and so on. That was the lesson that South Africa should have learned in Bangui in 2003, the Battle of Bangui. And it's a lesson that defense analysts warned about for over a year now in this scenario. And now it's come to fruition. We're simply saying that a properly supported deployment will probably result in less casualties or at least less risk. We must not minimize that point. And I think as a nation, we can learn that when we get involved in these deployments, we really need to be up to the task in the sense of support.
Yeah, and Pikkie, this always comes up, right? Even when some of these members of the SANDF were deployed to the DRC, I even remember the likes of the Democratic Alliance also questioning some who are undertrained, some who are under-equipped, some who are also under-supported. This is obviously some of the statements coming out at the time from the Democratic Alliance. Also, it just shows that this is a major concern when it comes to some of the deployments that we see within the SANDF.
I think, any remark from any point of view that would say that the troops were probably under-supported and under-equipped, that we would be in agreement with. We will never agree to the point of view that our soldiers are under-trained or not trained well enough. They are well trained. The only question is that they need the support, and I think the public must understand that in conventional warfare, to operate without close air support elements is virtually suicide. One cannot operate without close air support and enough and adequate close air support. And that's exactly what is happening in the DRC. We've lamented this from the very start of the deployment. Yes, there are air support elements from the DRC's Air Force, but we would much rather see and have South African Air Force involvement. Unfortunately, various factors has led to a decline in the South African Air Force's capabilities, and that is something that's really, it should really concern South Africans.
And before I let you go, Pikkie, and just going back to the killings of the 9 SANDF members, is it clear yet that when we can expect for their remains to be expatriated to South Africa?
No, that's not clear at all. And, from experience that we've had in these kinds of situations, at this stage, it's all about containing the rebels and repelling their attack. I think we should not expect that repatriation to happen this week already. It'll probably take a couple of weeks.
All right, Pikkie, thank you so much for your time. That is SANDU National Secretary Pikkie Greef just giving us an update there when it comes to that developing news coming in this evening from the SANDF confirming that 9 members from the SANDF have died, of course, and this is with clashes in Goma, near Goma in the DRC with the M23 rebels.